Carpenter, and this is Around Town with Amy. Today, I'm talking to Shawn Schlick about her son's journey with addiction. That's coming up next on Around Town with Amy. From the moment Seth Beatty was born, Shawn knew her son was special.
He was healthy. He was a big boy. He's always happy. He loved his sister to death. They were like twins, actually. Always needed to make you feel good about yourself. Always smiling. It was always mom, mom, mom. Just constant, like I said, constant neediness.
As a child, Seth seemed like every ordinary kid. But around his teenage years, Shawn began to notice changes in her son.
It was around his teenage years. My son was gay, so I think he struggled, obviously telling family. He was 18 when he had told me, and I think it was probably around maybe 16, 17 when I kind of noticed, a little difference in him. Seth kind of had that anxiety and depression pretty much his whole life. I think it ran in the family. His grandmother on his dad's side, I guess, was pretty severe pretty much all her life. So I think it was something Seth was born with. Just I never, I guess, picked up on it. I just never, and he would say sometimes, suffering from anxiety, and I guess the mother of raising two children and salons going and the whole 9 yards, kept thinking, how can a child have depression and anxiety? Right. There's a lot of things, I guess, as a parent you just don't realize.
Right. Like any good mother, Shawn tried to help her son through these difficulties. But no matter what she tried to do to help her son, his anxiety and depression still wouldn't go away. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, anxiety and depression affect many children. 9.4% of children aged 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with anxiety, and 4.4% of children have been diagnosed with depression. To cope with his anxiety and depression, Seth turned to drugs to numb the pain.
Seth, he hid a lot. He was smoking pot, with friends, what have you. I didn't realize, obviously, at that point, he had started taking some pills. I'm going to assume he was 17, 18. His dad struggled with alcoholism. That hurt Seth tremendously as he's growing up as a boy, because what boy doesn't need his father? A lot of unbroken promises, from alcohol. And he hated it. He just wanted his dad. So I think that had a lot to do with, the depression and anxiety also.
Shawn noticed a big change in Seth when he started working at Planet Fitness, a gym his mom and him worked out at. Seth loved working there. He was a people pleaser, and he got his energy from those around him. People loved Seth's positivity and his humor. He always made people feel good, which made people want to be around him. He loved pleasing people, and the customers at Planet Fitness loved him.
He loved life, actually. He loved traveling. He loved going places, and he did. He went to a lot. I probably couldn't explain how many, or tell you how many places that he has went, because he's went to a lot of places. Yeah, he loved life.
In 2020, after the pandemic began, Shawn noticed a difference in her son. The gym Seth was working at and loved shut down due to COVID, and Seth wasn't able to be around his customers, who made him feel so good about himself.
It was almost instant depression. The anxiety was through the roof. When I say through the roof, I mean he didn't even want anybody stepping foot in the house because he didn't want anybody giving my mother anything.
September 19th, 2020, Shawn received a phone call that would change her life forever.
And my mom's calling, so I pick it up, and she's like, Shawn, I need you to come home. Seth's not answering me, and I know, and she said it was like 1 o'clock, and he's usually up by now. And I was like, Mom, go down the steps and bang on his door, you know. At this point, when she said, Shawn, I'm scared, I just ran. I just started running. I got in my Jeep. And I'm texting and I'm calling and I'm telling him to answer the phone. I'm getting angry as I'm running, honestly, red lights, not even really knowing if there was anything wrong. Right. And all I kept thinking is, you know, I'm praying to God that I didn't see his car when I turned that corner. Yeah. That maybe he's just at a friend's house staying the night and he just wasn't answering his phone. And I turned that corner, I seen his car. And just something inside me just sank. It just sank. And I open up the door. As I'm opening up the door, I'm screaming, Seth. And so I go down the steps and the door was shut and I'm banging and I'm pounding on it. I don't even know why I'm pounding on it. Dwight just didn't open it and I'm screaming his name, you know, Seth, answer the door. So this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna open the door. I opened the door and it was so black and it was so dark and it was very stealth. And at that point, then I'm just, continuing screaming his name as I go back to his room. When I had opened up the door, I know where his bed was at when I looked over and seen something light up. And I turned around, I flipped the lights on, and when I turned back around, I see my son laying there. He was blue. He was cold because I started slapping his body, yelling at him. His eyes were closed. He looked peaceful.
Seth could no longer take the isolation and depression that had haunted him for so many years. He took fentanyl to escape reality, not knowing the magnitude of this lethal drug. According to the CDC, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. It is a major contributor to fatal and non-fatal overdoses in the U.S., and over 150 people die every day from overdoses related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Shawn shares that the death of her son has been the most devastating experience in her life.
Oh no, it was just, I still can't believe it. To this day, still can't believe I had to sit there and see my son. But I wouldn't have wanted anyone else to have found him. I think about that all the time because I would have been a stranger. And obviously, I watched him be born, and I watched him go out.
Shawn explains that there is nothing in life more devastating than burying a child. Yeah. Seth's death has taken a toll on her. She tries to help others understand her grief through her daily Facebook post, but as she explains, you can't just move on from the loss of a child that you gave birth to. Until someone loses a child, they don't understand the void and the heartbreak that you feel losing a part of yourself, the child that you gave birth to. Shawn tries to navigate this new life she didn't plan for by doing things her son would have done and taking things one day at a time. She adds that everyone has to deal with their pain in their own way, whatever is right for them. One thing that has helped Shawn immensely was a present from her daughter, Athena. Athena knew how much her mom missed her brother, so she got her something that would love her unconditionally and forever, and that thing was a dog named Miley. Shawn named her Miley after Seth's favorite singer, Miley Cyrus. Shawn feels like Seth sent her Miley to comfort her and bring her happiness again.
She doesn't let me sleep in or lay in my bed for days. She's kept my mind very occupied and very busy. She's my savior, actually. I didn't realize it until probably not too long ago that I realized how much she had saved me.
Miley gets Shawn out of bed every day along with her daughter, Athena, who has been by her side through it all. Another way Shawn has gotten through her pain is by bringing awareness to addiction and helping other moms who are going through the same thing.
I get people, mothers, fathers, all the time of, Shawn, I know what you're going through. Then they'll explain their story with their children. I know I'm not the only one. And I think
if you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, there are places that can help. For free alcohol and drug resources in Lancaster, call 1-800-780-2294. For help with depression and anxiety, call New Horizons 740-687-0835. Call Adam H. 740-654-0829 to learn more about their new Starlight Center, which will provide a safe, welcoming place where residents can receive immediate help for mental health and substance use crisis. Call FORT, Fairfield County Overdose Response Team, at 740-687-8255 if you or someone you love is a survivor of an unintentional drug overdose. Thank you, Shawn, for sharing Seth's story. His memory will live on through you. You can read more about A Mother's Love Never Dies in the May 9th edition of the Town Crier. Thank you for joining me on the 7th edition of Around Town with Amy.